Hi, I'm Jen Augustus, one of the teaching lecturers at the Queen Square Institute of Neurology, and I'm going to run you through the set of mark sheets and the marking criteria that we use here at the department. You can find this information on the Moodle pages by clicking on the Queen Square Institute of Neurology Assessments, or IOM Proj for short, and this will take you to the page. And if you look at the section clearly marked mark sheets and scroll down, you'll see there's a series of mark sheets here. These have been updated by myself and my colleagues for the academic year 2020-2021, and these will be used going forwards. The latest versions will be available on these pages. Have been updated to increase the transparency, so there's clearer understandings and guidance for you as students when you're writing an assignment as to how you can meet particular marks and the criteria that are laid out clearly for you, and also so that you can better understand the marks that are given and the feedback provided by markers. These sheets will be available on Turnitin or Moodle for our markers, and you will see their feedback on marks on them. So it's very important that before you start any assignment, you choose the correct mark sheet, whether that's the essay, library project, research project for those that are data-driven, and research project that are systematic reviews. So select the correct mark sheet. Although they follow a similar format, and we'll look at one as an example, they have got subtle and very important differences that are tailored to the assignment that you are doing. So look at them before you start your piece of work. Again, review them alongside your piece of work before submission to ensure that you're meeting all the required elements. And then finally, when you get the marks and feedback, you will be able to refer to them to understand why you've achieved the particular mark you have. These have been updated using the feedback we've received from students in the past, and we hope that it will be a positive experience so that they help you understand what you've done well and the areas that you can improve to take it on for the next assignment you may complete, whether it's as part of this degree or maybe into your further academic journey or into your professional career. So if I open one of these up to have a look at it, you'll see that they will all form a general grid pattern. On the left-hand side are a list of criteria. In this case, there are 5, and specific to the data-driven project I've selected. The next 5 columns indicate the different levels of classification and the marks that could be awarded. The first being a fail, then a pass, and then pass with merit or pass with distinction, and those that achieve the highest marks. In the right-hand column, you will find that there's a comments space for your markers to provide information as to how you do or don't meet particular criteria and the scores for that particular criteria. Each criteria have been allocated a proportion of the marks, which will all tally up to 100. So each mark sheet will give you a mark out of 100, and it's upon that, the total mark, which the classification of your assignment will be. So if it's less than 50%, that would be a fail. If it's 50 or above, it will be a pass. For a merit, you need to reach to 60. 70 above is a distinction, and then above 80, we call it a clear distinction. Although that's not an official classification, it's good to bear in mind that it is extremely rare for any student to get a mark in excess of 85% at the department. Do bear in mind that different mark sheets will have a different number of criteria, and the marks awarded to each criteria may vary. In this case, all of them are equally distributed, so there's 20 marks for each of the 5 criteria. But others may have some criteria contributing more to the mark. Now, that isn't saying that you should spend double the amount of words on that. It's not a word length. It's to make sure that the quality rather than quantity. So as long as you're meeting the criteria to the sufficient standards, then it will be marked out of the given numbers. At the bottom, you will get an overall, at the bottom left, 2 strengths of your assignment, and on the right-hand side, 2 key opportunities for improvement. So it gives you something to work on, how you could develop and how you can meet make it your piece of work even better or take it on to another assignment. We've provided this breakdown so that you can see exactly the parts that you're doing well and the parts that you can improve along, and we hope that you will find it much easier to understand the marks that you have been given. Just so that you're clear, this is the overall quality of your piece of work. Throughout your assignment, you may also receive comments at specific points, maybe to a particular reference or paragraph or table, but this here is indicating the quality overall. So I'm going to zoom in briefly into the first criteria because it's quite small on this screen, and then you can see exactly what I am discussing with you. So if I scroll to the left-hand side, we'll just pick up the first row. Obviously, it depends on the assignment type that you have the worksheet, the mark sheet for. So the first one is scientific background, including hypotheses and aims. So the first column is a fail. So if you achieve less than half marks, it is that the relevant background literature of the project has not been sufficiently covered, and or hypotheses aims have not been stated. In order to achieve a pass, you must provide a sufficient description of background literature, but there's some omissions, and the hypotheses or aims are formulated but not clear or justified. So it's important that you meet both these statements. So within each of the criterion and their descriptor levels, you should make sure that you meet everything that is listed there. If you do not meet one of them, then you can't receive a mark from that banding. For example, if you did not provide aims, then you wouldn't be able to achieve a pass for this criteria. Moving across to the right-hand side, you'll find that the descriptions increase in quality. So for a pass, you're providing a sufficient background. For a merit, we would be expecting a good description of the relevant background literature and hypotheses that are clearly stated and justified. In order to attain a distinction, you would have to provide excellent and comprehensive description of the relevant background literature, as well as the hypotheses or aims being clearly stated and justified. It's worth to note that a clear distinction would also have to be judiciously balanced background literature that is of an outstanding description, as well as the aims being stated and justified. It's rare to achieve these extremely high marks, but if you do, congratulations. These three words I've highlighted, sufficient, good, and excellent, appear in other levels, so other criteria, and they are repeated in the corresponding levels. So pass often has the word sufficient, merit is good, and distinction is excellent. So you get an idea of how this increase in quality as you go across the columns, and as higher marks could be awarded. In the right-hand side is where you'd receive the comments from your marker as to how you do or do not meet particular criteria, and then the score here for that particular criteria. If I zoom out now, there we go, you can see the whole of the form. It's always good to bear in mind that your work will be double marked. For essays, it's generally open marked, so the first marker will mark it, and then a moderator will review marks and make sure that they are in line with each other. You'll receive the moderated mark. For projects, they are double blind marks, so their two markers don't see each other mark, they mark independently. Then at the end, the marks are compared. If they're very similar, then the average will be taken. If there's some discrepancy between the marks that's significant, then there will be a reconciliation of the marks. There will be this mark that will be awarded. The markers will have gone through a procedure to ensure that the correct mark is awarded based on the criteria. So there will be discussions as to how to come to the correct one for your piece of work. If you are not happy with your mark, please bear in mind that you cannot challenge on reasons for academic judgment, but only if procedures haven't been followed. And you can find more information about Queen Square Institute of Neurology assessments within the departmental handbook. Wish you the very best of luck with your assignment.